from Mainac Sports, also from Detroit Lions. Hello, this is Mainac Tim from Mainac Sports, and also from Detroit Lions on the prowl. Uh, I just wanted to talk this today about the Detroit Lions. This has been a challenging year, and unfortunately, it's not over with yet. It's going to be hard for the Lions to win a game, although think they won't go 0-17 this year. It's I think they're going to find maybe one or two wins at best the rest of the season. People may be wondering why they're not making moves to pick up guys like Odell Beckham Jr. Although he could help the Lions, he could help them maybe win a couple games. Could definitely make them more competitive. But what will it cost the Lions in the long run? Even if you can get him for $7 million this year, that doesn't guarantee that you'll have him the years after this. And what will it cost truly? Uh, it's going to definitely take a cap hit. It's not going to cost any draft choices. Plus, you have a quarterback that has trouble throwing downfield. So, really, will he help enough not to take away his talent and his ability, but the quarterback we have now in Jared Goff is not a quarterback that's really going to be the best to make the difference. The Lions this year are in a rebuilding mode, a rebuilding team. Although I hate to see the Lions lose any games, and I'm one that thinks that they should be competitive in every game. But there's been a lot of injuries this year. I'm not making excuses. We have seen up and downs at the end of each game. Barring a couple where they just didn't show up, and of course we know last week in Philly they didn't show up, but they played a lot of teams closely. They were in most games this year. Some you can consider luck because they were at the end of the game that they came back, starting with, of course, San Francisco. Some they had some plays go the right way, but ended up going the wrong way at the very end. Sometimes you don't know where this team is headed. They don't have the cap space this year to really bring in the players that they need. So this year is going to be a hard year to do things. Yesterday I was approached at work and was said by a coworker. He was wondering why the Lions have not fired Dan Campbell yet. Now, let me get this straight. I do not feel Dan Campbell deserves to be fired. I feel he has got an inferior team to play in most of the games a lot harder than what other coaches have or could do. I think that this year is a year that we knew that there was going to be a lot of bumps and bruises and a lot of hard fought. Now, I'm not going to try to put a wool over in anybody's eyes, because I was one that predicted the Lions to win 11 games this year before the season started. Reason I did that, though, was based on I was thinking the coaching staff could bring him along, and we really didn't know the talent that we may have had, unproven talent yet. But unfortunately, this year, I was proven wrong that talent was not good enough to really win against a lot of opponents this year. So I know our receiving core is really been decimated. We have also had a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, and especially in our already shaking receiving core, but also in the offensive line. Everybody knows that. Uh, so there's been some unlucky breaks all around that the Detroit Lions have gotten. Um, and unfortunately, we as fans needed to live with that. But I do think that they are building a team now, and they are going to be. It's going to take maybe a couple of years. I don't know. I expect them to be better next year. We gotta wait and see what the draft brings. That's when we really can start evaluating. Another thing where we took a drop in talent and is in our quarterback situation. Jared Goff is not what Matt Stafford was by far. We knew that. Anybody who believed any differently was crazy, because you don't give away 2 first-round picks and a third for even up trade or to trade for a better guy. So we knew, anybody who knew what Jared Goff was, and I was actually hoping he would be that man that was the one that helped bring him to the Super Bowl, but he had a lot of help. He had a lot of help that year. So he had a defense, offense, he had a running game. And as we see, look at what Matt Stafford is doing over at LA now. And look what Matt Stafford has did over the years for the Lions when he played for them. Even though there was some bad years, even though he never won a playoff game. But when you put a team around a guy like Matt Stafford, you get results. Okay, Jared Goff would need almost perfection in order to really bring this team. Now, I did kind of like his attitude at first. He tried to give us some belief that the Lions could do something this year. I did like the way he played against Rams. I think he stepped up and really showed that he could be capable. Now, if he can make what he did against the Rams his second nature, his first nature, basically, then maybe there is hope. And then maybe you can build a team around him, but I just don't think he's that guy. But I just wanted to remind everybody I want to remind everybody to go ahead and subscribe to Detroit Lions on the Prowl. I'm also going to be doing a Detroit Lions on the Prowl show on their YouTube channel, or not on their YouTube channel, but on their Twitch channel. I do need to grow that. That's my responsibility. So any Twitch streamers, really, that's probably going to be starting next week, where I'll be doing a few days on Detroit Lions content. Hey, King Flubber. And yeah, go Lions. Of course, they are off this week. But let's just go ahead and I really don't like this saying. I know Jim and Torrance and even Kurt Steele will say, well, embrace the suck. You don't embrace the suck. You go ahead and you move on from the suck. They got to get better, and they got to get better soon. Now, one thing that I am doing, I'm calling on the ownership to go ahead and publicly make a statement to the fans on how committed they are to bring a winning franchise. And of course, that would be Sheila Ford Hemp. How committed are you to bring a winning franchise here to Michigan? To the Lions fans who well deserve that, who have supported you throughout wins and losses, more losses than wins. So I'm calling on Sheila Ford to go ahead and really just be public. Show your support for the fans, which have shown the support for your team. Any questions? Now, I do agree that I think the Lions should really go after defense in this year's draft. They need to get, everybody has heard defense wins ball games, defense wins championships. Now, one of the things that we didn't have for so many years is a strong defense that could shut down the run, that could shut down the scoring by the other opponents. Another thing we got to realize is we're going from a totally different philosophy of last year's Matt Patricia. He brought in a lot of players that did not have a pressure type defense, that did not pressure the quarterback, did not go ahead and try to sack the quarterback. So because of that, you got to get rid of those players that are not with that philosophy and bring in players that are with your new philosophy. So in rebuilding this team, and when you got to live under a salary cap, you can't just go ahead and get these players right off the bat, because unfortunately, like when Tavai, Collins, these people were cut when, Perriman was not one of Patricia's bring-ins, but it was our regime here that brought him in. These contracts and these signing bonus are still on our caps, so this is dead cap money. So we gotta get past those salary caps that own money in order to go ahead and get the players that we want. So unfortunately, it takes a toll, and it isn't like you got all the money in the world and you can just go ahead and buy a franchise, buy these players, buy the free agents that you really need, because the old regime, Quinn and Patricia, bought and they overpaid for guys like Trey Flowers, Big V, people that just didn't produce. So you got to do this. And also they had bad draft choices back then too. I mean, we had Kerryon Johnson, who was a bust from the start. Now, of course, the other year, the year after that, they got DeAndre Swift, which is really a lot better player, a lot better running back than what Kerryon was. But still, those were wasted draft choices. And over the years, the draft choices have been wasted. But this year, you got Penei Sewell, which is a offensive tackle, and he went ahead and really showed some stuff. He went ahead and competed a lot. Somehow I got this. Sorry, I had an ad pop up, and I had to take care of that. Yeah, and so, and he has, he has done great for a rookie. So I think you got people in there in Brad Holmes and also in or in Dan Campbell that really knows their football and is really going to go ahead and build a team over time that we want. So we definitely need to be patient. We cannot just throw away this coach after this year. Although I can see people's point, especially if they go 0-17. The first year ever there is an 0-17 season, you cannot go 0-17 because that's just not going to work for for the morale of the team, the city, and your fan base. So they do need to find a way to at least win one or two games this year. How you do that? I think is by being more aggressive in play calling, being smarter, going ahead and there's been games where we have seen where you put a lot of pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, and it gets them the ball back, and they go ahead and score. Then you go ahead and drop back into a prevent defense, and you don't put the pressure on them. And what happens next? They go ahead and they get enough yards to get a last-minute field goal. I mean, that has hurt us twice. I mean, although these were, especially that 166-yard field goal, which was unheard of in NFL. But I mean, no small attacks, no small achievement for the kicker that got that, because I mean, he got that field goal, and it was good, and and it allowed him to win the game. But you got to keep the pressure on the other team's quarterback, because our safeties are not the strong safeties that you have. You don't have a Darius Slay anymore. Thank you again, Matt Patricia. Okay, yeah. I was one of the ones that sung the praises when we were bringing him in, but once you've seen what he actually was, no. I don't know. And people, don't expect them to get like a lot of your flashy quarterbacks in the draft right off. I know we gotta eventually replace Jared Goff, unless for some way he can go ahead and change from what he has not shown us this year, or really didn't really show us a lot of when he was with the Rams, unless he can change and actually grow. But I don't see it, and I know a lot of people that had faith in him this year have lost it because of the way they actually seen how he played. Thank you. How are you doing, King? But I really want you guys to just really go ahead and just be patient with this team. And God knows, I mean, most of you True Lion fans, you know how to be patient, because, hey, you've been through it before. We've been through the 0-16. We've been through the 3-2 games winning seasons. We've been through the games where you go ahead and you get into the playoffs and you lose the first round. Glad to hear you're relaxing. So just be patient with this franchise. Be patient with this regime that we got. Will changes need to be made at some point? It could. But right now, I think we got to stay put with what we got as far as for coaches. Although I would like to see Anthony Lynn do better in some of his offensive play callings, but yeah, he only has so much he can work with too because of the talent that he has and is not there. The talent that he has is not there, and it's really rough. But I mean, they have, like I said, they've been competitive. They were competitive against Baltimore. They were competitive against San Francisco. They were competitive against Minnesota. They were not competitive against Chicago that much. Chicago blew them away. They were not. They were definitely not competitive against Philadelphia, and we know that the Lions do this. All right, we know that the Lions go ahead, and that's one thing as a coach you gotta find a way to get past, because we know that the Lions have over the years played up or down to their opponents. And what I mean by that is you'll go ahead and you'll get all hyped up, and when you're playing a team like the Patriots when they were real good, and then when you go to a team when like Tampa Bay was not real good, you play down because you let that steam, you let that momentum go for some way. Now, it could be that you went ahead and put all that you had in the last game, and it didn't work like you thought it was going to, so the outcome was bad. Now, one thing I can say, this year, I don't think that there was a lot of games that was taken away from them by the officials. I mean, as anybody that knows me, if I think that it was officials' fault, I'm going to say it. But this year it's not. It's not been that. There might have been one game that might have been questionable, but that I seen. But it was not a game that was. It was not. This year was not really robbed consistently by the officials. So then again, they didn't have to. But I want to see them get in the draft. I want to see them get a real great pass rusher. That's what I want to see them go. Now, King, I'm going to need to disagree with you where you just said go Packers. All right. Yes, hon. I do need to disagree with you on that one. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers gets what he gets coming to him, though. As everybody, I'm sure everybody's aware, and knows anything about Green Bay or Detroit or any NFC North team, well, basically anybody that follows the NFL really closely and not just their own team knows what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, where he's not going to be able to play this week because of catching COVID. And yeah, he's been having he did some natural remedy to try to go ahead and ward off COVID before, but he was not vaccinated, and even though he didn't come out and tell the NFL that he was not vaccinated or that he was vaccinated, he said he was on some type of treatment. And so there's some mix-ups there, and who knows what's going to go on. He could get suspended. Who knows? He could not. But it's just, hey, but this isn't a show to really down Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. But I do think that he needs to be, for what he did wrong, he needs to be held accountable. And by the standards of what anybody would be held accountable. And I don't think that he needs a bigger punishment than anybody else. But I don't think he needs a lesser punishment. So, but that's all in the NFL's hands. I know my friend Jim's wife blames uh, blames the Packers for giving covert to the Bears, but yeah, no, covert is just something that unfortunately we got all live with. Uh, I can't talk too much about it because you're not supposed to mention that much on it on YouTube, and I know this is streamed on YouTube too. So, okay, not this week, but after the Lions come back from their bye, they'll be playing Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Although Pittsburgh Steelers are not the team that they were last year, they are still. It's still going to be a rough win if they can at all get it. Lions would need one of those given Sundays, basically, to come up with a win at Pittsburgh. So it's it's not that it can happen, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard call. Now, hey, if they got Odell Beckham Jr., maybe. Okay, but as of yet, they haven't signed him, and I don't think they are, and I don't really agree that they should. But because you still got Jared Goff. Now, if you had Stafford back, yeah, sign him. Get Odell Beckham in here. That would give Matt Stafford somebody to throw to. But with Jared Goff, no. Of course, this year, and this is not an excuse for the Lions, the Lions have had a rough schedule. They have played a lot of your top tier teams, and a lot of the people in the NFC, a lot of the teams in the NFC North has played a lot of the top tier teams. So it's just the way the schedule is made this year. You played teams like the 49ers, and of course you're always, anytime you're in a division, you're always going to play like the Green Bay Packers. We're always going to play them twice. Always. You're always going to play Minnesota twice. And you're always going to play Chicago twice because they're your division opponents, of course, once at home, once at their stadium. So, it's just the way it is. Of course, this year the Lions got 9 away games and 8 home games because it's that 17 game schedule. You can't, it's not the 8-8 like you used to. Myself, I like things even. In my opinion, I wish they would have either stayed with the 16 game season or went to an 18 game season. I do know that the players did not want the 18 game season, but and I guess next year it's going to be where the NFC or the Lions will host 9 games, and then, well, the NFC will host the 9 games, and then next year the AFC will host 8 games. I guess that's how it works out. This year it was AFC's turn to host the 9 games. But go Lions. Let's just hope they can pick up at least 1 or 2 victories. Hopefully, I think they could maybe beat Denver, even though it's at Denver. They played Minnesota hard on the road. Okay. They barely lost. It was the last second field goal where they lost. Who knows? They could go ahead and beat Minnesota at home. They could beat Chicago at home. These are the games that I think they have a possibility of winning because Thanksgiving Day game. This is going to be, of course, the coaching staff's first Thanksgiving Day game. You're going against an NFC rival opponent. and you know, you got a little bit of revenge that you want to get on them. If they learn from their mistakes when they were in Chicago, if they learn from their mistakes and play and put that pressure on Justin Fields, pressure that quarterback, then maybe they can go ahead and come up with a win. I really hope so because I'll be at that game live. I'll be, well, I don't know if I'll be able to stream or anything live there, but I'll be, well, probably not because I'm going to be watching the game. And of course, I will definitely be giving you a report after the game sometime, probably after I drive all the way home, 4 hours from Detroit, but not 4 hours, I think it's like 3 hours or so. So, I mean, that's a game I really want them to win. And am I going to stop being a Lions fan if they're not? No, I will be a Lions fan no matter what happens. And I just hope that I hope that game can be entertaining. I hope that, one thing I always want to see the team do, I want to see the team show up, even if they lose a game. I want to see the team show up, and I want to see them play with pride. I want to see them go ahead and put out the effort 100% to the best of their ability for the 60 minutes of the regulation time, and if it goes into overtime or whatever. I want them to play for the pride of the city, for the pride of the state, for the pride of their fans, most importantly, for the pride of themselves. One of the ways you're going to build, one of your main building blocks in anything that you do is going to be, in all walks of life, is going to be to do things with pride. And if you put pride, and I'm not talking arrogance or anything, hey, you can be a little bit arrogant if you go ahead and show the other team up. But if you play with pride and do things for the best, to the best of your ability, you can build on that. You can build on that, and you can use that as a foundation to leap into other things. You may not win all the time, but one thing I will never call this team is trash. And unfortunately, I have heard even Lions fans call them that. Yes, they are not a team that has a lot of superstars, by far. They are not. They are an 0-8 team, but they are not trash. They are a team that has really given a lot of teams a scare at the end of the games this year. Now, one thing that I think that they did very bad was they took Philadelphia too lightly, and I think the Lions, and I know a lot of the content producers thought that Philadelphia was trash. Well, Philadelphia showed up last game. They showed up the Lions did. Unfortunately, they were the team that went ahead and showed up and played with pride, where I didn't see that on the Lions team last week. But yeah, thank you. Preach it. Yeah. All right. So where do we go from here? Lions got 2 picks in the first round draft, or in the first round of the draft next year. Whatever you do, do not trade those picks away. use them to make your team stronger. All right. And listen to. Sometimes you gotta listen to the fans because I'll tell you over the years. All right. This year was not so much the case, but over the years, we have scratched our head on why the regime has taken some of the players that they did. And one of the things I think, and that's why I don't think that we should get rid of Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes right now, because the Lions right now are building a foundation. Now everybody knows the strongest part of anything is a foundation. Then you get the furniture. Then you get the flashy players, the wide receivers. But you need. Football is a game in the trenches, a game of the offensive, the defensive line, and that's what the Lions have felt over the years, except for last year. And there was also one year when they did draft a center with Frank Ragnow. But they have failed to really get a core of strong offensive and defensive line people. Jim Schwartz, way back when, he was building a team. He's the one that brought in Matt Stafford. He's the one that brought in the Gambian Sue. Nick Fairley. They were trying to build a strong defense as well as a offense. He also brought in. He didn't bring in, but we also had Calvin Johnson back then. So you had where you were trying to build both sides of the ball. Well, unfortunately, they only got so far. And then, things went haywire and Jim Schwartz lost his job. Sue ended up getting so frustrated where he knew that, and I honestly think the main reason Sue left the Lions, because the Lions didn't offer to match his contract that Miami gave him back then. But I honestly think the reason he left was he knew that he was not going to get a fair shake from the NFL, because they were calling every little thing as far as for unsportsmanlike conduct on him. He had a target on him because he was a Detroit Lions player that left him once he left the Lions. So, I mean, that's one thing. That's the main reason I feel that he left the Detroit Lions. It wasn't as much as the money, but it was a getting out of Dodge, so that he wasn't going to be known as the so-called cheating superstar, getting everything caught against him, and basically destroying any chance that his team had to win. So that is why I think he left. Calvin Johnson, I think he gave everything that he had to this team. Herman Moore, Brett Perriman. Shoot, when they were on the team and this was years ago, and hey, anybody who has not got that app, Lions Nation Unite, get that app. Herman Moore is one of the major sponsors, well, is the owner of the app, but is also one of the major sponsors of content creators here in Michigan. And he's former player. He's just really, and he's sold out Lions fan. Not only a former player, but he's a sold out Lions fan. And you can see it bothers him when the Lions lose like this. But even he thinks that the Lions are going in the right direction with the regime that they got now. So he thinks that Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell is the way to go. He, if you want to check out any of the content creators, of course, Detroit Lions on Prowl, Dosa Dion, Everything King, they're on there. You also got Lions Podcast. There's so many different content creators on there that know what they're talking about. And this was a gift to the fans by Herman Moore. So get that app. Get that app. Because really, that app is something that you can, hey, he has got, and I know right now there's jokes about who wants Lions tickets. But even before he's seen, he's given us free tickets to the game on Thanksgiving. And he has also given just regular normal fans tickets. He also has causes for like St. Jude's Hospital. He has they had a Sherathon, I think last week. I don't know if it's still, or last night. I don't know if it's still going on today or not. He had, he had given away many helmets last month, the month of October, for breast cancer. So he also cares. I was fortunate enough to meet him at a regular Muskegon Big Reds football game. I've seen interviews with him. My friend Jim, he ended up on his show last Thursday. Yeah, Thursday he was on his show. Dosa Dion, he's part of the, he's young guy, major Lions fan, knows what he's talking about, great content creator. He's also verified as far as for being, one of Herman Moore's inside guys. That's just a great app to go to. And he cares about this team. And he cares about the fans. That's one thing. He wants this fan base to be proud, to speak loud and proud. And hey, I proudly say that I'm a Lions fan. I'm proud to say that. All right? That's my team. True, if they can get the team to work. Yeah. It's true, Tony. Hopefully they can. But if you can keep if you can. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Now, one thing I will never do, all right, I will, yeah. If somebody is a fan of a certain team, even if it's the Packers, all right, you have the right to be the fan of that team. All right, so, but, yeah, I do like how you say I'm proud to say I'm not a Packer fan. Way to go. You seen the light. Uh, oh boy. One of the things that Lions Nation Unite did was they gave these T-shirts out. On the back, it has a scan. Somewhere if I can show it. It has a scan where people can scan the app right off your shirt and just download it to their phone. But this one, the coloring is basically because it's a respect to service members. And one of the things I do want to thank is anybody who has served in the service this month. I want to thank you guys because Tony, your brother Sky, has served in the Army. There's a special thanks for him, to him. Also, Kurt Steele from Detroit Lions on the Prowl, he served for over 20 years. My brother, he was a 4-year Marine. And there's been so many others that have sacrificed a lot. Jim Bordeaux's dad served in Vietnam. And that was one of the wars where a lot of the servicemen didn't get the respect that they should have when they came back. But my hat's off to any veterans, whether it be Vietnam, Korea, World War II, both the Gulf Wars, anybody. Thank you guys. World War I, World War II. Thank you, veterans, for serving. Thank you, anybody who served in the armed services to keep this country safe. Go Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Only for you. Well, I don't have a lot more to say today. So I'm probably going to be ending this. I do need to find out some more content. And I'll try to be on more often. I'll just need to figure out a time in my schedule. Because like I say, I'm going to be doing stuff on 2 platforms in Twitch. There's going to be some for just Mainac Sports. And then there'll be some for Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Definitely. Yeah, I definitely need to do more of this. That's for sure. But I do want to say, hey, go Lions. Let's get, hopefully next week, Taylor Decker will be back. Yes. Hopefully next week, Taylor Decker will be back. He's been out most of the year because of the injury to his hand. But hopefully he'll be back. And heck, he could be that difference maker that we need because Penei Sue with Taylor Decker, of course Frank Ragnow will still be out. Hopefully Jamal Anderson will be back next week. Hopefully DeAndre Swift's knee will end up healing up or whatever problem he had. But this is this is Mainac Sports signing off. Thanking anybody who watched me. Thank you, King Flubber. And I just want to thank anybody who may see this on YouTube. Go Lions. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button either on YouTube and also on Twitch. Follow me and be looking for more content with this show and also with Detroit Lions on the Prowl. This show I will be doing more than just Detroit Lions. On Detroit Lions on the Prowl, it will only be about Detroit Lions or their opponents to come. Now, if there one thing that I do want to do is have people who from other teams to debate. Like if there's anybody from Pittsburgh that is a Pittsburgh fan that wants to debate the Lions game next week before the game, that would be great. Because I do want to give you a chance to brag up your team too. That's one of the things about creating content, and it's also creating about your opponents too. All right, I am done. Hello.